Hello and welcome to another episode of Fire Emblem Discussion. I am really excited about today's topic. It's pretty interesting. But first, I'm joined by a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Miss Special Guest.
Hi, I'm PKLucky. I've been doing YouTube for like about 10 years now, but it's only recently that I started doing Fire Emblem content, and yeah.
Yeah, her channel is really cool, really interesting. She's been doing this forever, man. Like, longer than most YouTubers have been doing YouTube stuff. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
and most recently, you've been doing some really good Fire Emblem Three Houses analysis videos, right?
Oh, yeah. This is like the first time I've ever done something like this, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so the Fire Emblem Three Houses analysis video that you've done are really, really good, and a lot of people are pointing to them as their source of knowledge, which is really cool to see, right? So I'm really impressed with what you've done. It's really good stuff, and I'll post a link in the description to one or two of those videos. So make sure to go check that out. For today's discussion, we want to talk about how the perception of Fire Emblem as a whole, as a series, has changed over time, particularly before Fire Emblem Awakening's release and after Fire Emblem Awakening's release. And now you guys pretty much know my history with this series, but I want to make sure you know PKLucky's history with this series so that we know what her perspective is coming from when we ask these questions. So first, PK, why don't you just go ahead and share with people like your first Fire Emblem game and what you've played up until now.
Alright, so I started playing Fire Emblem 7 when I was in high school. That was my first game. I think at the time, either Awakening or Fates was the latest game in the franchise. I want to say it was Awakening. So I got into the series really, really late. And honestly, I've never really heard of Fire Emblem beforehand. I mean, all I really knew about it was from, like, Smash Bros. And with Marth and Roy and Ike from Brawl and all that, so yeah, didn't really know much about it beforehand.
Perfect. And that's why PK's here. She's going to be able to give us this really cool perspective of, like, as a newer fan, as being able to look at the series from, like 2012 onward, whereas I am, an older fan and a lame elitist guy over here who likes the Kaga games over anything else, So we'll have very different perspectives, and it'll be fun to talk about. Okay, so let's just get into it. So the question we're just going to discuss, I'll just say it. How do you think Fire Emblem was perceived before Awakening? And I'll let you take it from there.
Alright, before Awakening, I think it was viewed as one of these sort of niche interests. Like, not many people were into it, not many people heard of it. It was just a thing that maybe only a few people were into, some sort of, like, cult classic among, like, Nintendo franchises and all that. I mean, from the people who knew about it, they probably just viewed it as, oh, it's just a fun strategy game, all the way from Japan and all that.
Definitely. I agree with that. It's super niche. I think it's still pretty niche, but it's like before Awakening became like the mainstream hit that it was. It was, I don't know, forums like Serenus Forest and I don't know, like FE Planet, if anyone remembers that one. Like, it was just no one really, like, it wasn't very like busy. It wasn't used by very many people. But now it's crazy how that's changed, right?
Oh yeah.
So, like, since Awakening has come out, like, what do you think? How do you think people see Fire Emblem looking from the outside in?
Well, the fan base has definitely grown since Awakening's release. I'd say a lot more people are paying attention to it because of how many people are now playing it. People probably view it as this, like, very anime sort of thing, I mean, let's get real here. People probably basically view it as part strategy game, part dating sim. Let's be real here.
Well, frickin' Awakening and Fates want you, like, especially Fates wants you to think that with all those weird close-up scenes where you blow on the screen and the petting. Oh Oh my gosh. I remember, okay, first time I played Fates, I played Conquest first, and I remember like you'd invite an ally to your room or something, and I was like, oh, what does this do? I was just like mortified when Camilla walked into the room, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? What is this?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, sorry, go on. I interrupted you. Go ahead.
But yeah, this game, what was I gonna say? It was like, people probably don't see it for like the strategy game at its core that it is. They probably pay more attention to the anime sort of fan servicey side to it more than anything, really.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. For sure. I feel like it hurts me as an older fan the way people look at Fire Emblem now, because it's almost like, oh, you tell people like, well, what kind of games do you play? I'm like, oh, I'm into Fire Emblem, you know, and they're like, oh, so you're into weeb anime crap, right? And I was like, not really. It's for the gameplay, I swear. So let's move on to the present day, us now, which is what we've been talking about anyways. But Fire Emblem Three Houses is out in like a month and a half, or it's close. Actually, it's like 2 months. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's out in like 2 months. I'm really excited for it. I'm sure you are doing all your analysis.
Definitely.
Definitely. So how do you, like, just from the limited knowledge that we have so far, how do you think Three Houses is going to change the series as a whole? Like the way us as fans see it and the way that just Joe Schmo on the street who may have heard of it sees it.
Well, people will still probably see it as very, very anime, if only because of the school setting.
So anime.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I am glad to see that some of the older elements of the franchise are kind of making its way back, so that newer players will have that perspective of, oh, maybe this is how Fire Emblem used to be now.
What are some of those older mechanics you're talking about?
The biggest one that comes to mind is the Major Blood or Holy Blood or whatever from Genealogy of the Holy War. That's coming back through the Crests mechanic. I think that's pretty cool that that's coming back.
Oh yeah, I'm pumped for that. I think that's just a cool concept.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, well, yeah. I think Three Houses is going to positively impact the series. I think it's going to bring in a lot of new fans. I don't think there's any doubt about that. It's gonna be a lot of people's first game. It's gonna be, I don't know, we talk about Awakening babies and Fates babies, but there's definitely gonna be plenty of Three Houses babies, especially with the install base the Switch has. It's just gonna be the big release of the summer from Nintendo that everyone's gonna be like, oh, did you pick this up? It's pretty cool. So I'm really excited for the change, and it'll be fun discussions to have in the future, because it's kind of my thing. Fire Emblem
right,
discussions. Exactly. Definitely. Okay, and I have one more question. I didn't prep you for it. But this is something that I feel kind of strongly about right now, and I want to get I just get other people's opinions on it. So I think because of the emphasis on time, like with the calendars and whatever else in Three Houses, and also with the reintroduction to the Holy Blood concept with the crest, do you think Fire Emblem Three Houses will have a time jump at some point where you'll play as children of a second generation?
Oh man, I have been thinking about this for a while, ever since we found out about the kind of the Holy Blood comeback, and I'm just like, that seems like a possibility. I mean, time does seem to play a big role in this game. I mean, the Japanese title does refer to the 4 seasons, and we do have the calendar, so it's like, yeah, it seems like time would play a huge role in that. And with the crests, it's like, yeah, you know what? I'd say that it seems like the game is going in that direction.
Definitely. Okay, I love that perspective. Thank you so much. Validating my thoughts and opinions. Thank you. Definitely. All right. Well, thanks for joining, PK. I love having you on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no problem, dude.
And if you ever want to come back, of course, you are always welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Friends at home, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. This is a discussion video. I will be responding later this week as per usual. So let us know what you think. How has Fire Emblem been perceived as a series throughout its history, throughout its timeline, you know, pre and post Awakening, and now looking forward to Three Houses? I'm really interested to see what you have to say. And of course, make sure to like and subscribe for more Fire Emblem discussion.